Good morning, guys, or good evening to wherever you live. I just want to say hello. And I also want to address a few questions that have, come in through our free Facebook group, have come in also through messages at yourhealthcoachbiz.com, personal messages, etc. There are a lot of coaches that have asked me, I'm really overwhelmed with my niche. I don't have clarity. How do I get clarity, Rachel? So I want to actually share a PDF that I created yesterday, thinking about every question that you guys have been having. And the only way that I could kind of put this down you know, in kind of a way that's really cohesive is to map out kind of where I started, and also to help you guys understand and hear this clearly. Just because you say, I'm going to start with this niche, you're not going to have to keep that forever. There are many coaches like myself that started out as a gut coach, and then I wanted to work on the emotional part, and I started talking about that and working with people with eating issues and stress eating, which was a huge part of my life. And I tested out that niche, and I found that it just wasn't fulfilling me. I loved working with the people that I worked with. I loved networking and really showcasing myself as that person for the family that's going through this, for either the young girl or the mom, the person I was directly working with. But I did change that, and I got extremely clear, very niche specific in about year 2. So please keep in mind that if you're feeling like you serve everyone, I'm going to take you through this simple step. And I want you to actually hold yourself accountable. A big thing about success as a wellness entrepreneur is knowing this. We all have fear. We all have imposter syndrome stuff. If you are like me, because I'm a recovering paralysis, go in just overthinking everything to the point where I either crash and burn with adrenal burnout, or I'm moving so fast that it's hard to kind of not feel overwhelmed. So what I want you to do is to say, I'm going to attack this. I'm going to declare what I'm doing, because if not, you're going to be like many of the coaches who say, I wanted to do this 3 years ago, or Rachel, I spoke to you 3 years ago and I'm still in the same place. This is coming out of perfection zone. So here's the steps I want you to take. And then I want you to give yourself 3 days. 3 days is a lot. That's 86,400 seconds each day. And if I can birth a baby, if I can, of course, get myself feeling right and leave a hospital in 48 hours with no drugs with both pregnancies, I am sure you can think of a lot of situations in your life where you have just pushed through the overwhelm, even in your own health journey. I mean, guys, come on, there's not a perfect, one blueprint for a health journey. That's why each of you are so unique. That's why that person, and I'm just going to level your fears, that person is hiring you because of your unique approach to health. And so that's what we're going to dive into, not just nail down your niche. I have the niche course at rachelafeldman.com. We have all of that. But I want to show you the nitty gritty of this practice that is truly going to change the way that you coach and also how you view yourself. So remember, this doesn't have to be forever. It's going to evolve. There's not a perfect starting point. Those who hold on to that, guess what? They don't ever start. They don't ever click, live on the blog, live on the webinar. They sit and they just think and think and think and think more. So I really want you to just table your fears, come into gratitude. Come into your ideal client's shoes. Feel that pain that they feel. Think about each of these specific ideal client avatars, these different personalities within the people that you're going to attract, your dream client. When we come out of analysis paralysis, when we come out of number crunching, even though I'm all about mapping out your financial blueprint and your business plan, a lot of us, people like me, it just squashes our intuitive gut intuition. So if you're like me, I'm going to take you on exactly how I was able to push past all the fears, all the overwhelm, and, really step into my client's shoes, which to this day was the best sales, marketing, coaching advice that I was given. This is not about you, Rach. This is for you to, of course, pull out these stories of your life, say, what do I really want to be known for? Who do I need to teach? What's missing in this world that I know that I can contribute because of these experiences? Or I know this has to be different in the world. And that's where we step into a service-based mindset that will overtake any fear, that will allow you to also tap into the mind, the psychology of your buyer, that potential consumer who's digesting information as they're scrolling, or maybe they hear you. They're going to, of course, convert because you are tapping into the intuition of what you know this person needs to hear from you, because you're so clear on who you attract. You're so clear on maybe the type of personalities that you're attracting. You're so clear on the different levels of problems that you attract. And this is a perfect example in any niche: ketogenic, mindset, weight, gut, autoimmune, detoxification, emotional eating. I mean, think of it, guys. We're running our businesses and our approach to our business like a standard, book on health issues. It's not that way. We are connecting and communicating with human beings. So come out of that overwhelm and visualize this person. You have to see it to believe it. You have to visualize this every day. You have to see those people coming and saying, every day I'm going to put out amazing content that solves this problem. Every piece of content solves a problem. Every post that you do either connects you to that person or drives them away. When you're sitting there and you're like, what does my ideal client need to hear? Don't sit there and say, oh, I don't know my niche. You do know it. You straight up know it the day that you entered whatever school, or you left whatever job, or you said the day that you broke to your knees and you were like, please God, or please, whomever you pray to, or, in your kind of visualizations or your journals, you sat there and you were like, show me what I need to do. Show me the path. And so when you embrace that and you really think about your ideal client and their struggles, their trials, their tribulations, how's it affecting them in their life? How's it affecting them at work? How's it affecting them in their intimacy with their kids, with their grandchildren, with their partner? Is it taking away from them showing up in confidence? Are they sitting there because they feel bad or they feel lack of confidence about X issue? How's it affecting them to show up on a Zoom? How's it affecting them to actually, live their life? And it's not just you selling, oh, when you sign up with me, you're going to have X transformation. That's not the message. Niche is one part. I want you to tap into your heart and really see these people struggling. And think about where in their day are they up against obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. Shame, guilt, fear, that maybe they had cancer and it's going to come back. So every moment of their day is tabling their fears. Fear that they will always be bulimic or a binge eater or a stress eater because of what happened possibly in their life. Play out their life. All of you guys, and trust me, this is probably one of the biggest. I don't know my niche. You actually do know it. You do know it, but so often we come into something new and we want to be told exactly what steps to take instead of calming ourselves down, stepping back into the service-based mindset and saying, You know, I have no idea how I'm going to get there. I have no idea how I'm going to build it. Because I didn't either. Sucked at tech, sucked at everything. But I knew that I had to drop those fears and really think, for that woman like myself, this mom that birthed kids, she had multiple autoimmune diagnosis, life support twice, like all these stories, all these experiences in her life. And this mom passed to her babies, the stuff that I passed to Sammy and Max. What are her fears? What does she need to hear from me that will truly touch her life? And even if I don't have an email marketing system, which, guys, most of us in the beginning, none of us could figure it out. I couldn't. Some people have teams. Some people are able to hire virtual assistants. Some people are also just good with that. I was not. I said, you know what? If somebody's really blown away, no matter where they're consuming my content, YouTube, at point, guys, to just make you feel better, in my YouTube description, I didn't even have a website. I didn't have an email that was, Rachel at Rachel's Wellness. I just was like, this is what I experienced. If you want to connect with me, here's my email. I made it really simple for that person. I let go of how many followers, how many likes, my email list. I just thought, if I am showing up for this woman with fears like me, or if I'm showing up for the me many years ago, which I knew would be an ideal client, I would attract this corporate person, this person who is high energy, probably adrenal fatigue, really, really tough on themselves, has a tendency to just doubt that they're doing it right. They also love the adrenaline. They're kind of that high energy person. I knew that there was also messaging for that person who was busy corporate, who was also maybe a CEO and a mom, or a CEO and a dad, and all these different things that go through that person's head. Gut's usually bad. There's IBS. There's a lot of living on coffee, like really fake energy, because that person feels they got to just keep going. There's so much on their shoulders, and there's a tendency to be overworking. When we really stop and say, what are either my own experiences? What are the experiences that I've witnessed? Many of you have been coaching family and friends for free for forever. Go back in your memory, in your slides, in your brain, and say, in all these instances when somebody came to me, a family member, a friend, what were the questions that they always asked me? If somebody's asking you always like, oh my God, so, you're the person I go to for supplements. Like, what's your favorite one? Or, oh, I'm having metabolism issues. And oh my God, you're so fit, or, I know you went through food allergies. Can you tell me, I'm so lost. My child got diagnosed with celiac. I don't even know where to start. I hear gluten. They'll go on in these questions. Start writing those down in the next 3 days. Write down, what do people see you as? And if you don't know that, I want you to be ballsy. I want you to contact people. If you even worked with people while you were in school, go back to those notes. If you didn't do health histories, or it's been a long time, this is where you got to do your market research. And it's not hard. I don't look at analytics crazy. That's another element that kind of takes me away from that intuitive flow of a person, my ideal client, my dream client. And then I get into franticness. So if you're like me and you're like, you know what, I want to keep it simple, here's my big advice. Number one, reach out to 5 friends yours. 5 friends who fit this ideal client you envision yourself seeing, envision yourself working with, because it just lights you up. It lights you up to talk about this core issue and all of these different compartments of problems. And I'm going to talk about that just in a few, meaning, and I'll expand on it. If it's gut, is it hormonal gut that you love? Is it metabolism and gut? Is it sleep and gut? Is it stress and gut? Is it adrenal and gut? Is it thyroid and gut? Like, I want you to really see the mass potential of all these things that you can talk about, as long as you relate it back to the core of what you want to be known for, so you never confuse people. Gut detox, gut mindset, gut natural solutions, gut candida, gut, the list can go on. I want you to draw this. It's always the easiest. You're going to say, we're just doing this off the riff. You're going to draw a circle right in the middle. You're going to say, this is my ideal dream client. I'm going to call our avatar 1. Ideal client avatar. What does she look like? Where does she live? What are the key problems? Get clear first. Then you're going to reach out to these 5 friends, because you're clear on this type of person. Say, you know what, I'm going to give you this 14-day program. In exchange, can we hop on and do a pre-program, a 45-minute recorded talk, and then a recorded talk after? Because I want to really see the benefits, what you got from this program, because I'm super excited to start my health coaching business. No, you're going to be scared. When I called my friends, and when I, in addition, went into a Facebook group where I was making that my home, I was really showing up and giving consistent feedback and content there, not a sale, high value content. I said, do you mind if I ask for 5 people to test out my program? Guys, this is the cheapest way to get the exact verbiage, the exact messaging, the exact problem, the exact desires of the very people you work with. So yeah, that would be 5 friends, because they already know you. That would be a little different of a verbiage, but they're going to fit your ideal client. These different types of people who struggle with these core issues, because you're going to declare what you're known for in 3 days. And then, of course, you can redefine it. So you have to start, though. I think this is the part. You have to do it scared. That's it. You have to do it scared. There's not going to be one baby blanket, that any person can give you, that is going to lay out literally all aspects of your coaching business. You're going to learn that. It's just like riding a bike. It's just like when a baby walks for the first time. You have to start, and you're going to fall, and you're going to feel like you're failing, but you're going to fail forward, because you're going to learn. So 10 people. Then not only do you have that market research, but even before that, you're going to say, this is avatar 1, avatar 2, avatar 3, or avatar 1, if you just even want to keep it simple. What is this person? Let's call her Beth. Beth has all these different issues. She's got a myriad of issues. Candida, she's got foggy brain. She also has, she just gets nauseous after she eats. She has really bad sleep. She feels like she's always swollen, her fingers are swollen. She was told that she's got some thyroid stuff. Most people are. She was told, you're definitely intolerant to gluten, maybe dairy, but I don't know, your food tests keep coming back. One's has false positive, one's has false negative, and she's just lost. Think about her life. What is an obstacle? I'll give you an example so that you kind of see how we've talked this out. Obstacle 1 is she's feeling overwhelmed about the holidays. She doesn't, because she doesn't know what's right, and she's been told all this information, and she's digesting her information from the shows and the media that she loves. She's listening to Dr. Oz. She just caught that last night, and she's listening to the doctor's panel. She also, of course, reads the New York Times. Understanding how your client is digesting their information where is another important aspect of market research, and also helps you to understand these potential messages Because guys, marketing is really an assumption. And when we market without fear, when we, of course, show up without imposter syndrome, when we stop analyzing, all of a sudden, we understand that we have to actually show up because we've got to test what is the information my ideal client needs. And that's really the beauty of it. It's not that any of you don't know enough. I mean, if anything, some of you guys know way, like so much out here. It's that we're usually not spending enough time marinating about our ideal client, seeing our ideal client, feeling, and getting people on the phone so we can really do our market research. If you're, of course, struggling to find people online, guys, go offline. There's a plethora of people in your community, your own acupuncturist, your own chiropractor. I mean, reach out to them and say, hey, I'm doing a little market research because I'm so excited to start my business. You will feel a little fear, but you're going to get over it because you're going to do it scared. Start to understand what this person, their holiday plans, worried with all these issues, like, are they sick? Worried with all these issues that they're having, and write them down. Get specific. When you get specific and you start really being specific in your messaging, a post can't serve everyone, but you're like, oh, in this post, I'm going to talk about the 5 reasons and this vicious cycle of why you're not healing on ketogenic, or why you're not healing on the AIP program, or why you're not healing, your old trauma, or why your chakras are out of balance. Like, go in and address the huge problem that they're having in their brain and really marinate on that so that you can say, oh, these are the 3 reasons, the 5 reasons. This is the 7, these are the 7, these are like the 7 aspects or 8 aspects of like a high performance CEO who wants to make more money and have higher productivity. And really help yourself to think, if somebody with X problems were coming, what would they want to see as the solution based? And what do I need to start educating them on? Hint, what do I need to teach on that is not being taught? And if it is being taught, so what? Come with that success mindset that you are the leader of the pack. You are the expert. You are going to be that person who is going to rage against the machine and be really strong in your conviction so that you save that person's life. It's that serious. I mean, and I think a lot of us, we doubt ourselves, so we don't go there. We don't show up with that conviction. You're going to say, you know what, this is why my step-by-step process is different. This is why in my signature method, we start at phase 1, then we go to phase 2. Phase 1 is this baseline. It's a much more attractive conversation, and even in your own head, when you start to say, okay, I want to work with this niche. I know these core problems. I know what I need to teach that sets me apart from everyone else. And as you teach really what you believe, and you step into that and you step into your power, there will be something that will take over that's way bigger than your fear. And it is your why. Not only is it your why, but these are these core big vision beliefs that are really jacked up in this world. And so, sometimes we don't know our niche, but we have to say, what? I want to be known as this expert, and I work with people with these core problems. Own your value. And then one thing that we put right here is to, of course, map it out. Now, this is 100K. Nothing happens overnight. Hate to be the girl breaking the dreams. It takes hard work. It takes consistent work, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it. What I want you to do is download this and start just mapping out these freebies. Your freebies are, I was looking at a few different things. You'll see over there. I'll move them. Is that these freebies are your solutions. The very content you're going to be talking about really can showcase your freebies or workshops or a challenge. You're going to start thinking, if this person with these problems are coming in, what exactly do they need? How does this blog, this freebie, the very live that I'm doing, the workshop that I'm hosting in my free group the first week of every month on a Thursday, how can that workshop create engagement, solve the problem? So you start seeing yourself as the person who is putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Secondly, map this out so you're really thinking over the next 3 months, what am I going to be consistently talking about? And just declare it. Be like, you know what? I am working with extremely busy moms who have children, under the age of 10, and they're having anxiety and stress. There's some mood, there's some gut issues, and maybe they don't even know that there's gut issues, but they're focused on the weight part. So you could come at this and say, weight everyone talks about. How am I going to make myself different? Well, I'm going to talk about how you could actually, like a workshop we have, like lose weight without ever dieting. I think that's one of the biggest objections that people have about starting a new program. Oh, this isn't going to work. I did this before. This is some money to work with this coach. And so when you think of that, it's like, okay, then attack it as maybe it's blood sugar and weight. Maybe you're really going to focus on blood sugar cravings, that gut connection. And so you'll position yourself as this weight loss coach who does not take their client on a deprivation diet. That this is the missing piece to why our ideal clients are not losing weight and feel frustrated and then give up. I actually said this to a coach yesterday. I said, you could really position yourself in weight, either looking at candida, looking at the adrenal part, looking at the blood sugar part. And then all of a sudden you start to create this signature business, and it gets super exciting because you're like, holy moly, these possibilities are endless on how I can position myself. And so, think about that. What do you want to, how do you start testing your niche? How do you really also step into that place of empowerment? Think of it. In my perfect dream business, how am I going to position myself and my offers? Think about the offer on the front of your website. Think about a masterclass or a workshop that you're going to be doing. Let go of the tech fear. Really, there's so many different cool techniques, and there's so many different easy peasy free techniques. I want you to stay in the vision first, because when we're clear, we see it, we believe it, we start to visualize it, and we see people literally coming and opting in. We see that person buying. And so I need you to stay there. And we can talk about tech later. Stay in the mapping it out. How do you solve the problems with your freebies? If that person lands, and even if you don't have a website, they land on your link tree on your phone, what is the freebie? Even if somebody personal messages you or DMs you and they don't, you don't have a list, great. What are you giving them in a conversation? You can say, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. Like, what prompted you to reach out? Open-ended question. Then they're going to reply. They're going to tell you everything. We just have to actually listen. Oh, you saw that? Oh my God, that is so great that you saw like my 5-day gut challenge. Yeah, I did a video for each day because I know that my clients can get so overwhelmed with even picking the right probiotic, let alone if you should refrigerate it or not. Then do you want me to send you this, or can I add you to my email list? Yeah, I would really love that. And actually start to think in these personal conversations, whether you're reaching out on LinkedIn or you're reaching out to a professional and saying, I would love to write a newsletter. And then I can also give a free gift. What problems are you solving? How do you see yourself really showing up? Because this is actually the exciting part. You get to solve the very problems you know are extremely broken in the world, but I want you to get niche specific. And once you really think about, is that young mom, or is it a woman in her 40s and 50s that have completely different problems than a woman really in her 30s? They may have the same problems, gut and hormone and sleep, but that woman in her 30s is a totally different message than that woman in her 40s and or 50s, because they're experiencing different types of problems based on their age. And that's where we really get into the fine tuning. And that's why I want you guys to think more about these people than to say, is this right? Oh my God. And to feel overwhelmed. I also added a few different classes right here so that you guys would be able to have that quick link. I put together, no joke, I did about 4 hours of filming yesterday because I sat there and I was like, wow, this is really hard. I know I struggled with it. I think I just had a little more clarity because I was so clear on the things I went through. I was so clear on what I wish my mom would have known when I was going through a myriad of issues as a young kid. I was so clear on my fears with my children. I was so clear on also the personality of person who is this gutsy type person. And so speaking, of course, to that ideal client, whether it was speaking to their mother because I was working with a kid, or whether it was speaking to teachers, or, I think that's the part that I want you to kind of understand, is that I just had to take a chance and pitch myself to like the PTA and teachers and teach at my kids' Montessori. I had to take opportunities even before I completely knew what I was going to talk about. But I sat there and I was like, if I had all this struggle finding this solution, and I thought of different friends and family, and I actually named them as avatars. So you could go back to this, and I had names for everyone. And I actually, I'll flip this around, or I'll show you right here. Like, that is what I do all day, all night. It's exactly what I did in the beginning of business, is to really map out what were my lead magnets and why. What were also my, offers, and to also create little maps of my ideal client avatar and think, this person with X experiences, where are they struggling and why? In a world of mass information, what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is that your ideal client doesn't know who to trust. The biggest problem is that your ideal client, like many of us, have needed to weave through this ungodly, very difficult path of finding what actually works. And so when you think of that, I want you to really think of how many times were you told, oh, this may be in your head. Second, how many times were you told, it's just because you're getting older? How many times were you told, yeah, that Epstein bar, it's nothing you can really do. Or no, that gluten doesn't really affect your skin. Oh no, the detergent is not affecting your child's like eczema. The list goes on. So I really want you to think about what your person is struggling with. How has their life in this last 3 months, 6, 9, 12, what's happened in their life? What changes? And how can you be of service? So I just want to see what the questions are. Hey, ladies, for thinking. Elizabeth Kim. Oh, Elizabeth, if you guys want a great coach, I was blessed to have her in my membership, and she's really an amazing coach who I've seen her in action. hands down. Hi, Kim. I bring them in with a niche once. It will cover stress, food, environmental, safe, movement, spirituality, sleep, traumas, fun. I love that. What I would say, Kim, is really get specific in that. Like this is a perfect example. I do use that word trauma a lot. In my one-on-one coaching, we worked specifically on very old stories that had imprinted. We worked a lot on also like tapping, even kind of making sure that we were going back to that old story and reframing it, or of course doing like write and burns. I had entire rituals for what that looked like. And so I want you to really expand, want you to write down each one of these in a bubble and then expand. When I do trauma work, what are the steps I take somebody through? I hope this is helping. When these toxins are environmentally affecting you, what are the biggest problems? Why does not everyone make the change? What are the obstacles that somebody actually feels? Do they say, oh, switching to, as I drink from plastic, oh, this is too hard. I don't know what to do. Step into their objections and their fears and their past experiences. Disable those fears and say, guys, maybe you're struggling with going to glass containers. Let me show you this one that I love because X, Y, Z. And really say, a big part of my system and this method is we address these, this. You can address them all because that is part of your signature process. In my mind, they're always like, 6 steps. And I would say to my clients, there are about 5 to 6 things. I guarantee you are doing wrong. And they're such small things. And for the majority of my clients, that was straight up true. For a large portion, and that's where I turned into more of high ticket coaching, is because there were multiple layers of sickness, emotional, physical, spiritual. And so defining what that experience looks like is the game changer. And I think that's what we don't do enough. We're like, is this freebie going to work? It's like, make the freebie work. Make it a part of your system. The freebie is just the first piece of content they're like grabbing onto. You have to make it work because you have to help them to understand what's going wrong and what can even possibly go right. And by showing up and really diving into those, Kim, diving into these narratives, diving into these potential conversations, diving into why it is so freaking unbelievable to work with each one of you. I can't tell you how many times I have a conversation, can think of 2 coaches yesterday. And, we were talking about their process. And I said, all those cool ass things that you do in your life, like the favorite colostrum, the favorite supplements, the foods you eat, the things you do, how you overcome stress, how you handle fear, how you handle a flare, how you handle like whatever are these elements of your process and story, you have to show that transformation. I often see coaches who will tell me, oh, I've worked on, I've done niche. And I'm not trying to say this to be rude, but I will straight up be blunt with my East Coast personality, is that if you did it and it was successful, you would be fully booked. Hands down. There's never a lack of people. There's not a lack of people wanting to spend money. It's whether we are doing our job of explaining why this transformation is so important, why in our life we go through this step-by-step process, teaching on these different elements for our clients. These are the core pillars of my business. And I teach this because, wow, this is so simple, and yet it's being missed in this industry. I see left and right in the industry being taught this. I know it doesn't work because of this. And this is why in this webinar, we're going to dive into the 3 things that you are probably missing that are so easy, or the 3 reasons that your child, has some emotional issues, or 3 reasons why your child is, still feeling foggy, and, whatever it is. 3 reasons that your kids still have, food allergies. With all this information, with all the specialists, with everyone, let me come in and carve out all the chaos and the BS, and let's get down to business. That doesn't mean this, you have to speak in my personality. You can ask my husband and ask my kids. I'm always this way. I'm not like trying to be something on social media, on a webinar. I'm not trying to be someone else. And when I do, my mindset goes out the trash. I want you to show up in your love language, in the way that you speak, because guess what? Your client's going to be attracted to you, your vibe. People buy people, then they buy the product. And so understand what your transformation is, and understand those missing parts in the world, because it will truly save your game. And it will truly allow you to actually build this thriving business where we're all like, is this possible? Of course it's possible. You just have to be clear. And that's, for a lot of us, a problem. Okay, so Kim, homework. You're going to come into the free group, because guys, we are going to have some fun with this. Come in the free group, post. I want you to go live. This is a double dog dare for anybody, because we're going to kick this year off right. And we're going to also kick December off in a new way of thinking. The only thing that's going to change the world is when we all let go of overwhelm. We learn how to push through our fears. We learn how to just be ourselves. So you're going to come in, we're going to do a live right into the group. You're going to tag me at Rachel Feldman and say, this is my first try of getting niche specific. And then stay in this uncomfortable moment. This happened with somebody in my membership, Steve Fillmore. He was confused. He said last week, I'm so confused. And I was like, well, you're in a lot of these different groups, but are you actually coming in anywhere and being vulnerable, telling somebody, I really don't know what I'm doing. I feel so overwhelmed. Dropping the ego, dropping the pride, and committing to stay through the overwhelm. No joke. I said that to him at 6:30 in the morning. And he was like, you're right. I'm coming in here, and boom, he has literally gotten a program out for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. He published his blog, because I said, Steve, you're so amazing. Believe in yourself. So come in there, Kim, and do that. Tell me also in that video, speak to me. Where are you feeling stuck? Where do you feel like you're not clear, so that we can help you guys a little. And in turn, this really helps everyone, because this stuff is so vital. So before I go for a quick run, Elizabeth saying, which group? Come into the free group. If you want to, of course, come in and go live. The specific thing with Steve, that happened in my membership, because that can get a little feisty, saying, come on, we're going to do this. But someone's saying, how do I niche down if I coach weight loss from the angle of emotional eating, intuitive support? Oh, I love this, and mindset. So number one, when I talked about those elements, I would say a great example that I can think of, somebody who just bought, I actually have a lot of intuitive eating coaches right now. One is, this is how I would position it, your niche is that, it's your intuitive eating coach. And I think you're clear actually on the niche. I think where we get stuck is, how do we show ourselves different than somebody else? So first, I would go back to that homework that I talked about, this avatar. Are you attracting this woman who is ready to step into this intuitive path? Is she open-minded? Is she willing to do that work? Is she willing to dive deep? And what fears does she have? Is she scared that she's going to have all this trauma, all these really scary things that she's pushed down for so long? That's where I want you to kind of marinate in, what what is a game changer for this kind of woman? And then I want you to also see yourself as this different coach. I want you to write down about 10 little stories that have been in your life about why you do this kind of coaching, how your coaching is different, because I've worked with enough intuitives, empaths, and every different person I've ever worked with is completely different in their approach and really what they want to focus on. So I would say that if you are talking about this from the weight loss perspective, you have to really define what is that big fear about letting go of the diet. I do have a few coaches who are positioning with, you don't ever have to diet. You can eat these like amazing foods and really tackle that fear of letting go of the control. You could also, of course, position yourself if you're talking about universal light and really tapping into like the power, really set yourself apart by focusing. Of another coach who does this, like on the 5-day meditation challenge, on the 7-day chakra challenge, and really come in the element of building up that self-worth, that self-confidence, the being able to open up soul and heart to feel the compassion so that we let go of the control. Third is, you might want to actually really go at that controlling fear, because the truth is most of us control, self included. It was a big part of my eating issues. It's fear. It's like when too many things feel overwhelming to control. And many of us naturally do that. Many of us maybe adopted these addictions because there was trauma, there was, disharmony, or maybe things weren't safe, or maybe it was totally safe, but that person felt that it wasn't, or doubted themselves. There are so many different elements of the human psyche that when we actually say, wow, how do I want to speak to this ideal client? I think it actually brings us, like I said, back into our heart. Guys, much longer than I anticipated. I think I'm late for a call that I have with a coach to help her choose her programs. I hope this was great. What I'm going to do is in the free group, I'm going to create a unit section on this. I'm going to put this download, and we're just going to take baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. I am really grateful for all of you. It's Thanksgiving. I have worked on my mindset for, I'd say, 6 weeks to come out of a really poopy place that I felt. And we're all in this together. That's what I'm trying to say. I love you guys. I think I'm definitely late for my call. Big love to each one of you. Hi, Wendy. All right, my friends, I will see you later. Hasta la vista. Ciao. Shalom. I don't know any. Konnichiwa. I don't know any other languages. Bye, guys.